You're not. I'm trying to join us.
Is Beth coming?
Okay.
All right, good evening. Finance meeting to order. Please join us able, stand able for executive.
Just to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The meeting is called pursuant to the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Law. This meeting of July 2026 was included in the list of meetings notice sent to the Courier News on January 5, 2026, posted on the bulletin board of Rose Hall on that date, and remain continuously posted as required. In addition, a copy of this notice is and has been available to the public and is on file in the offices of the Borough Clerk. And a roll call, please, Clerk.
Sure. Councilman Anderson is not here. Council Vice President Engelhardt,
Here.
Councilwoman Fasara. Here. Councilwoman Herbert. That's absolutely.
No, she's not online.
Oh, shit.
Brandon is stuck, so he said he's gonna try to join if he can get out of this meeting. I don't know, it's not fair than we thought.
There's
Keep
Beth.
an eye out.
Okay, that's here. Okay.
Present.
There you are.
Councilman Levitt,
Here.
Council President Parker,
Here.
and Mayor Carroll.
Here. We don't have a work session tonight. Regarding that report, it's just a couple of things that I just want to report from the parking committee and that let Councilman Levitt take the majority of that. There are some ordinances coming out from that committee meeting. One is at the request of police department that Maple Avenue's lone last stop sign that is heading west at Maple to Spring, get a stop sign to turn it into a three-way stop. Because people are slowing down there. I think it's because there were joggers coming down there for so long that we're blowing the stop sign or just not coming to a complete stop, that everybody's gotten a little, not everybody, but a lot of people have gotten a little gun shy about it. So the police department has actually requested that we just turn it into a full three-way stop. Also, I mentioned this at our last meeting, but it just somehow did not get translated as direction to our attorney. That Forest Place needs to have an ordinance amendment to make that road a fire zone, no parking at any time. Because fire trucks need to be able to get down there at all times. And who was the third one? What was the third one?
For ordinance.
Yeah, there was a third.
Is it one?
Thank you, it was Bloomfield Avenue, yes. And then finally, there was also a request by the police department. That, and that's under, we'll be getting a memo from Jay Chapman on that, I believe, some point our traffic consultant. In the near future. That Bloomfield Avenue have the ability to become a reverse one-way when there are large activities on Main Street. Because the people who live on Spring, they can't come down Bloomfield Avenue because there's an activity on Main. They have no way to get to Spring to get home. So during big activities, we would like to see a sign that it's cantilevered, that can, with notification on the street that Spring will be, or Bloomfield will be one way west, east to west, to only to Spruce Street. So Bloomfield we go from Broad to Spring reverse, only during big events. So but we're waiting for a memo on that from Jay Shaw. So I don't really have, we've been relatively quite my belief in actually county. We have the police report, which is the police department, they're pretty active month of June. Sorry, I don't know, we're having trouble loading already. I'll come back to that. I'm having trouble here for this message. Well, I'm trying to pull that up. This right of parking, so I'm going to take. Go ahead.
So, few more updates from the parking committee. We've been having reports of issues with the new crosswalk in front of Courthouse Square. We are looking into a few updates with that, including striking the crosswalk, improving visibility of the pedestrian crossing signs that are being covered by trees, and possibly installing an RRFP there at some point, depending on how some grants that FID Director Norton is applying for go, how depending on how those go. Mention the new ordinances. Chief Rotella has appointed Officer Emmanuel to be our new dedicated traffic officer. His responsibilities will include things like traffic enforcement, crash related work, reviewing traffic complaints, conducting field observations and speed studies, maintaining a visible enforcement presence. And mainly, the main thing is in an effort to increase our effectiveness in responding to resident concerns, we're going to have him as a dedicated point of contact to address those issues. And he's also helping us better identify key areas of concern, overall trends in terms of parking, traffic safety, and he's already done some excellent work. For his continued assistance in these matters. Few updates on the new permit system. We've gotten approximately 600 vehicles have been registered so far. They're expected to increase in late August and early September when school residents, especially around Broad Street, and they have begun actively enforcing those regulations. I'm going to regret saying this publicly, but in an effort to force myself to work on it, I am trying to prepare a map that might help make it clearer for new and existing residents where permits are and are not required, as well as map out our general parking regulations. We'll see how far I get by the next meeting. And fun fact, we have over 350 individual parking regulations in all of our streets and roads. So wish me luck. I know I saw some residents talking about their new stickers with parking permits being effective or rapidly peeling. I was informed that we use the same vendor that we've always used. Perhaps this was a bad batch of stickers. If any residents already applied for a permit and had their sticker immediately peel off, they can always contact the police department for a new one. And also brought up concerns that Councilwoman Herbert had about illegal left turns on Clark Avenue Extension. We will be getting some flexible delineator posts to install to, let's say, perfectly habit people making illegal left turns. They're going to work on the exact layout to best handle the vehicles. And let's see, the new state e-bike registration insurance regulations are officially in effect and being enforced as of yesterday. So if you have an e-bike or somebody who uses one, please make sure they are aware of those and get their e-bikes registered and insured. And lastly, from the DPW committee, we have on tonight's agenda the yearly municipal aid resolution for North Main Street. And for the PFAS work, somebody requested an update on that. We got our first 40% payment for design work for treatment. And there has been news of a proposed rule from the EPA for water systems to request an extension on their treatment work for 2 years, moving the deadline from 2029 to 2031, but that has yet to be finalized yet. The main point is that our engineer is still working on design and will ensure that the rural water system is compliant. That is everything I know.
Can I ask you a question about the parking permits?
You may.
So when you go online to register, they're asking for your insurance. Why are they asking for that? Instead of just their license?
My understanding was to ensure that you are registering a vehicle that is legally permitted to be on our roadways. State roads. You did require in the past some form of identification be submitted when you fill out the paper application, you present it to the clerk. Right, yeah.
That registration.
Yeah, registration I get, insurance I don't get.
This New Jersey requires insurance for cars on our roads.
Oh, I understand that, but when I applied for, when I got my last permit, I was never asked for my insurance. I was asked for the vehicle registration, which makes sense to me.
My
I just
understanding
don't
was that
understand.
I did ask about this. We probably should have always been collecting that information, not so much that We didn't really need it before, but we simply weren't doing it. And now they are.
So here's my question, and I'm not trying to challenge anything, but you guys were pushing back on the block cameras. What's the difference between collecting information on license and insurance than it is on flocking? I'm just trying to ask,
So what the chief said was, the time you register this car, you must have insurance, because that's what the state says. You cancel it the next day, he won't know, that's what he said, flat out, but you've gotta have insurance for the state of New Jersey, that's a requirement to
oh,
drive.
I know that, I've been,
That's
it's been
what-
since I was
that's what he
17 years old, but my point of it is that was not an expectation that was set out and communicated when this whole thing went in. What we were told is that it was just gonna be a permit system, but none of the other details. So I have people who are just caught off guard and who are really pissed off because they're saying, well, wait a minute, why are they asking me for this information? And I'm sitting there going, well, I didn't even know that was happening.
Brian, do you wanna comment on this?
Sure, so I did speak with the chief this afternoon about this, so he asked me to just bring this back because he thought it may be an issue that comes up. And what the chief shared and wanted shared is the issue is once we issue a borough permit, the borough is permitting and allowing that vehicle to park on the roadway. And we are required to ensure that to know that the vehicle is insured to be parked on the borough roadway since we are having it permitted to be there. And to your point, Mayor, he did share again that it's just for the initial registration. There's no checkup on that. So because of that state requirement and because the borough is authorizing the vehicle to park in that space, we have a duty to understand that the vehicle is insured should it be struck and have that insurance on.
But the point being is that was never communicated.
Yeah, that I can't.
So we do that, I mean, this is the thing about this whole thing. You put in things, it's not communicated, and then the town is upset because nobody's talking to them, and then we're backpedaling. So the bottom line is if you're gonna roll out something, it's frequently asked questions, it's whatever the case may be, you dot the i's, you cross the t's, that was not done. And so now we're having to go back and answer questions that I can't even answer because I didn't even know it existed, first of all. And to me, that doesn't show cohesion at all of what's going on up here. That's all I'm gonna say.
I mean, honestly, and I don't mean this in any other way than just, I'm surprised that anybody doesn't get that. When you buy a car, you have to prove you have insurance. When you
That's
register a
not the
car,
point.
I'm sorry, let me finish.
It's really not the
Let me
point.
finish. So I'm kind of surprised that anybody thinks that they don't have to show all the legal documents that New Jersey requires that you have if we're saying this is where you get the
If
car.
that were communicated, this would not be a question. It was not
No, but it
communicated. We were put in a permit system and all we were told, because nobody had to do that in the past, all they had to do was provide the registration, that's it. Now, there's an addition to that, which is fine if that has to happen, but you've got to communicate it. And you can't communicate it after the fact, you need to communicate it before it goes in, it's just very simple.
Well, no, but again, nobody asked that question of what was gonna be required. And when I registered my car with the town, but we shouldn't have to. I mean, we shouldn't be challenging what the police say is legally responsible.
I just.
Was it in the ordinance?
I disagree.
It's a state law.
No,
I-
I'm
have to
T
be
two
sure.
or whatever, when we bought that, is it in
There's
there?
nothing in the ordinance that says you have to provide proof of anything. It's state law.
I understand that, but I'm
but-
saying whatever we passed, the resolution. of
It wasn't an
It
ordinance.
was not communicated. You
wasn't
can defend this all you want to, but it wasn't communicated. And that's what people are upset about, it's not that they don't, it's that you don't talk to people, you just put stuff in. You put it in and you don't talk to people, that's wrong, that's my point.
If I could chime in here for a minute, I think the police admitted at least I saw the one post online that the rollout was pretty clunky. I guess is the best way to put it. And they even, admitted that online that there was not it wasn't clear. I shouldn't say we, I as a council member came home one day and saw this yellow sign. I would have liked to have, yeah, and I was, oh, they did this, right? So I didn't know it was coming. I would have liked to have known, hey, we're sending these out. Well, at least tell the council, hey, it's, these things are hitting everybody's porches. So you might get some questions. So that would have been the number one thing to do. Number two, I think when we did, I was on the parking committee, and so was Adrian, and when we recommended that we buy this software. And one of the reasons is because everything was, I think, on Excel spreadsheets, and every time they needed to, like, it was all hand done, right?
It was really hand
Yes.
funky, it was hand done,
Right.
and when I did mine, Excel, it was back there was confusion.
Exactly, right.
You know, all of those things, so the T2 system, what I recall from that review of the system was. It had a very elegant user interface, and it would support online registration, and those were. I'm not discounting what you're saying, because it's hard for people to understand change, but I think we were more focused on how elegant is the solution.
Yeah.
As opposed to.
Yep.
Well, and I don't
That's
think,
involved.
and I don't
Yeah,
think
that's
anybody's even
involved.
questioning
You're
the
looking for an
software.
elegant solution.
Yeah.
I got it.
The rollout was
It is.
fun, but there's another issue, But there's another issue related to that, so I think the initial goal, I know we had long-term goals and the software can do lots of different things. But the initial goal was simply, hey, let's get what data that we have into a computer, so it's all in one place and it's not in all little, files in somebody's file cabinet, right? So, and we had a new police secretary to manage that well, so that was the goal, get the existing data, put it in, and then get any new data in the areas that require parking, put it in. I think the other thing that wasn't communicated, and I didn't realize this, I know we had talked about long-term, on the parking committee, to eventually have the whole town, organized. But what I did not realize, and what I don't necessarily agree with, I think also was rolled out early, which is why I wish that we had talked about this, like, hey, this is going out and hitting porches, is the limitations on car registrations. It's really unclear if you have more than 2 cars and the visitors and we can't even, we as a family, because I have 2 teenage boys, we can't actually fill all of it out, because the software isn't allowing us to register what we already have registered now with the borough. And I live probably on the tightest, parking area on Broad Street,
You're
right?
talking about the number.
The number of cars, and so,
I think you just have to call the secretary.
but that's the
But-
thing,
but
is
let me just say-
that clunkiness,
So what-
we
I
should have
think what-
worked that out and made that decision prior.
But I think what part of the problem was that the chief was promised all this training. And it kept getting delayed by the trainer and getting delayed and getting delayed. And when the hotel project started renting out properties, he wanted to get the stuff out. And so I think that I'm speaking for the chief, but I haven't spoken to the chief about this, but I know he had a lot of problems getting the training complete, correct?
Yeah, there was some limitations, I guess, from the company on the tree.
Then why did we
So
stay with that
somebody-
software? Then why did we stay with that?
I can't.
Then that was the
It was
stupidest
his-
thing to do, because listen, that's a clear indication there's something wrong. If I keep delaying something that I spent money on, and then you keep delaying it, and you say that that's acceptable because I want to get something out there, it's not the right thing to do. And oh, by the way, I don't see a lot of cars out there from 30 people who are in an apartment. Stop crying wolf. The bottom line is, it was not done right.
Well,
Eric.
in fairness to the chief, he's not here tonight.
Well, then we should bring them in.
And he'll be at the next
All
meeting.
right, well, then we'll talk.
And if I had known you guys wanted to talk about it, I could have asked you to come in tonight, so.
Well, he needs to come in.
Like I said, I think there's 2 issues. One is the communication and clunkiness. And number 2 is the way the system's working right now, half of the people in town can have as many cars as they want. And half the people in town can only have 2. So we also are not being, equally fair to all of our neighbors. So we need to, if we're going to roll out a
Take an
whole.
action, excuse me, can we take an action item instead of, so that we don't keep going, because I think we have the understanding, I think the action item is. An understanding of what the glitches are for the software, right? And how we fix that immediately, that's first.
And
But
that's
I
why we-
wanted to finish my sentence.
Go ahead.
It's okay, let me just finish my sentence. So and I agree with you, let's have the chief come in. the one problem is the clunkiness and the rollout. The other problem is right now, we're not equalizing the entire town. So we're either should be, if we're going to limit permits and charge for more, that should be later on down the road. And
Are we
because,
though?
well,
I mean,
I can't,
You can get,
right now,
you can get as many residential permits as you have registered cars.
but that software is not working now.
Okay, so
no,
that's,
that's the
what
problem.
I'm getting at is that's the action item for IT
Exactly.
support.
So
For
a
someone
limitation with that
to
is I
that
think you
IT
have to set up,
request
like, you
immediately
could have an
resolve
account
it.
and register 2 cars. And your husband could register another account with his email.
Well, no,
They have-
But see, Brian, that's clunky.
I don't disagree,
Yeah.
and I have nothing to do with that, this is just what I'm being told on the end user
I
side.
agree with
Is
Adrian,
what, when people come in, this is what we're telling them, so, but again, I
but
can't.
it's
So
causing
you need an
frustration.
immediate IT.
I agree
You
with
need an immediate IT.
I agree with what Adrian's saying, we need, here are the action items, and the chief needs to come in and they need to have these action items explained. And then there needs to be a rollout to the community to say, this is what has happened, this is how we fixed it, and then move on. But right now, you're stuck in this conundrum and it just keeps going on, and I keep hearing excuses, I don't wanna hear excuses, I just wanna hear the results. The bottom line, it wasn't done right, and then you rush the software because everybody wants to cry wolf, and there's no need to cry wolf, period.
I think maybe we
Enough.
asked the chief if we could have some sort of announcement, maybe on the website. That we have a moratorium on this until we figure out the software, because clearly it's not working for everybody.
I'll talk to them and, hope you hear.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry. Who's the issue with that?
Trent was there.
I'm good. I'm all done.
Okay,
That was it.
Councilwoman, sorry.
Well, I'll be brief, not as eloquent as Trent is. Just from the fire chief's report on July 14th. As of July 14th, our all volunteer fire department has managed 181 calls year to date. I think I mentioned in the last meeting I attended that fire department iPads have been updated with the Call Log app, so for those of you who are familiar with it, that's what goes on as opposed to doing manual written paper logs, but at the same time, the logbook, while they're going through this new edition of software, they're going to keep them in tandem for a little bit, so if there is an issue with the app, it doesn't call out. And then I also mentioned the 2 grants. There's 2 grants that are now in accepted mode. One is the FEMA grant, that's $385K for portable and mobile radios. They're very, very old, what the fire department has. And there's another $35K in county grants to offset PPE costs. So those are moving as quickly as possible through those systems. And I wanted to thank Dave Giuliani for filling in for our serve leader, Brian McNally. 4th of July event. I know it was crazy, it was chaotic, and I guess you guys killed it. This year it was my year to some of the dog in the basement. So that had to start pretty early, but my husband said they were fantastic over there. And then to just so you guys know, with the storms that we've seen just past weekend and even this winter, is seeing the work that Officer McNally puts into when there's a weather issue, emergency issues. It's always very impressive, and hopefully maybe in the future I could be a member of your service team, because when you see what he does and the time he's put in, I do forward those out as they come in once, normally not the initial one, because I'm sure everybody else is just preparing. But when I do get those messages, I do push them out to the rest of the council, just so they know people have questions or concerns. So thank you. That's it.
We should give Arcade a big shout out.
Oh, yes, I figured you would too. You're bad.
Yeah, you mentioned that the last time too.
Oh, you did?
We
Okay.
should, this works
So
so
hard.
hard. It has to make it, it really does. Okay, Councilwoman Parker.
Yeah, a couple of things, so I wanna, let me go through this and then I wanna address something. So the Corn Tomato and Beer Festival is coming up, and I would like to see, I mean, they're short on volunteers, I would like to see all the council volunteer for some 2 hours slots on that day. And And there is a running list of what they need, but basically, I think it's beer sales is what they need at this point. So I'm asking from anywhere from, I think it's from 10, am I right? From 10 until like 6 or 10 to 8 or something like that.
10 to 8, we
10
need
to-
people in the later shifts more so.
Okay, so if you guys could please step up, and I think we're gonna get an overwhelming response based upon what happened with people. I think you're gonna get those people coming back. So I would love to see that the council is represented. And I would even say if some of the borough staff would like to volunteer, please do so.
And a t-shirt and a drink ticket too.
So see, there you go.
Bust out that circular.
There you go.
Come on.
Their Carl is gonna do it just for the drinking.
Yes.
I gotta. see
Well,
where it is.
and Maureen maybe. Yeah, so I would appreciate if you guys could do that. That would be great. And please reach out to Ally. I know that she sent something out to all the council to sign up. So please, I would beg you to work with them. And I think you're gonna see a whole different corn, tomato, and beer festival than you've ever seen in town. So I'm pretty stoked based upon what I'm hearing. The other thing is I just want you guys to know, I had mentioned about the alcohol license. Well, we met with people and they are this close. So the forms are completed. The attorneys have completed the forms. They're going to the next step. They are about to sign. They knew that they couldn't sign anything until after all that was done. They are 30 days out at this point, and I think you guys are going to be pleasantly surprised again. Under an NDA, I can't really say anything, but I will.
TGIF license, right?
Yes.
That's right, the philosophy.
Yes, so I talked to Chris, he knows about it, he doesn't know who, but he knows about it, and so. It's in 30 days, you will know. In 30 days, you will know, and you're gonna be pleasantly happy at this surprise, so I was thrilled, really great people, and I think they're gonna bring a lot to the town itself. Because they really want to be integrated into the town. We actually got a, thanks to Zwicker and Joe Drulis. The Tuckamerton Park got $175,000 for improvement. I talked with Mike. And between the $175,000 and the $40,000 that he has from a grant, we can do everything we need to the park. So, Brandon, myself, and Mike have met, have gone through the list. He's getting some estimates, and then we'll bring it to council for final vote. The other thing that I do want to address is the hotel, because everyone can keep throwing shade to the hotel, and they can keep making up rumors and things like that. I want to put it out there that last night there was a fire outside the hotel. It had nothing to do with the hotel. It had all to do with JCP&L. And what they didn't do was cap something, so an animal got down into the pipes and caused the fire. And I mean, it was a fire.
Squirrel.
Or chicken, it could be birds.
So,
I'd be a pretty big
I
bird.
actually like snake, but it smells like chicken.
so the point of it is that I want to, because the first thing I can hear is that the hotel is not this and it's not that. It has nothing to do with the hotel. Nothing to do with the hotel at all. It's all in JCP&L. The other thing about the hotel is that there was a rumor about it was not safe, and they have all these fire faults and things like that. Their safety issues, thank you. I was trying to get the word out. It's fine. It's called AGB. It really pisses me off sometimes. Anyway, so here's what's going on with the hotel, just so everybody's clear. It has nothing to do with the borough. It has to do with Marriott. Marriott has a set of standards that you must adhere to take on their name. So what they did when everything was said and done, Marriott came in and said, whoa, wait a minute. We need you to do these things. So they had a punch list, and some of them are really minor things, but other things are minor things, but it causes a major issue. So which means that somebody like Ken McCormick has to go back in because they had to do certain things that Marriott Marriott requires. So I just want everyone to understand, it has nothing to do with the borough. It has nothing to do with safe, that that things are unsafe there. It has to do with Marriott, and I'm gonna keep saying it, Marriott standards. And in order to have a Marriott brand, this is what has to happen. So that's where it is. So I just want to make sure all those rumors are squashed. Because enough is enough. We've got something good going on here. We need to get it across the line. And all this nonsense is just like, if people don't have anything else better to do, I feel sorry for them. But anyway, that's the bottom line. So I told Jack I was going to say that because I think it's important and I want to make sure that everything's squashed. So that is, oh, I wanted to say this one other thing. So it turns out, I know we had a discussion about WAP, but it turns out I actually know someone who works for that company. Who worked with me, and we'll go over that, but I'm just, but there, the.
Can that wait
flop-
till August 10th, then we'll be
Yeah,
back. in
yeah, I'm
executive
just, the flop, I just wanted everybody to know, I know someone who works there. He worked for me, so I didn't know it was there, but anyway, we will discuss that, but I want you guys, we'll talk about that. But I just wanted everybody to know, anyway, that's all I have.
Councilman,
Thank you. I'm gonna just follow up with Tony, but from a construction department standpoint on the Marriott. Some of the items on the safety list at Marriott's requiring our minor stuff that are just corporate things like signage. Other stuff is related to what our construction department would do at the end at the C of O versus a TCO. TCO meaning temporary certificate of occupancy. C of O is just the final one that they won't do for quite some time. So things that Marriott might require now, the UCC, the Uniform Construction Code doesn't require the borough to have done until much later. So there is that element as well from the construction department standpoint. So I'll add that for my liaison point. Planning board, next meeting is July 28th. The Jaja warehouse, that's existing warehouse over on Route 12 is on the agenda. That is a D variant, so I think Mayor and I stepped down for that. Also, actually, Adrian, I sent you an email about this afternoon. I do apologize. I thought that Beth was the liaison and I didn't, I realized I was mistaken. It was you. So I forwarded you information you probably know already. The first aid squad's filing and files.
To be environmental commission. Yes.
Yeah, well, yeah, you might have seen it that way. Yes, you probably saw the application through the environmental commission. You're right. So they applied for an addition, so their application is also in to the planning board and we'll be seeing that for completeness soon, but I don't know if that's on next agenda or not because of the large application. I haven't seen the agenda yet for the planning board for next Tuesday, but we'll see when that comes. I do want to add thanks to Assemblywoman Drulis because she was paramount in getting that $175,000 for Chicken Park in this year's state budget. So we really thank her for that. She really lobbied on our behalf. Dave is here tonight, so you can actually, if you want to, I don't want to put you on the spot. I forgot that you were coming tonight, but Dave he issued a letter to John Tillotson, our construction code official, asking to issue an unsafe structural notice for the building the old train station that's on the southern Agway site, the Tarboy site for those that don't know, they're north and south. At first, Dave asked the owner to put a fence around it to, kind of keep people out of the dangerous structure. And then with the big storms, it became clear that the roof was a public safety hazard. Dave met with the HPC chair, and he also agreed it was the roof itself was a public safety hazard, and the owner is now required to either demo the building or take care of the roof and
There's
make it
water in there?
structurally safe.
That's
I
water
I
in
don't
there?
know, that was not part
No,
of the
that's-
report, but I did not.
I just wondering,
Yeah, no.
yeah.
It'll take
I
years.
don't believe so, but
Mhm.
that wasn't part of the report, but I did wanna, do you, since you happen to be here, do you want to expand upon my summary?
Sure.
And
No problem, thank you.
I forgot that you were gonna be
No
here.
problem. Good evening, council. So, to Susan's point about the depot, I've been in contact with the owner who is scheduling a demolition, company to take care of that. Thought it would save some of the structure because of the historic, whatever they can, kind of store it someplace. So he's working with his own contractors, coming for a permit for that. So that's all, working along. Briefly on my report, I have to say thank you to the residents of the borough for keeping their lawns. There has been a lot of lawn maintenance issues this year. Everybody's been good, but I will remind residents, if you have contractors, they're not allowed to blow the grass in the street. They need to blow it and secure it and then clean it up that way. So but most of my things I've been dealing with, I'm just like simply with the building with the Agway and some other properties. We are still keeping on the properties that we have liens on to make sure that the maintenance is being done. So we're continuing that track, Councilman Anglor.
Thank you for giving me a personal update,
No problem.
David.
No problem.
And lastly, I got 2 months worth of animal reports since the way the meetings landed. I didn't have May's last month. So May's wasn't that exciting. There was no wildlife or anything to report, but there was a couple bites, dog versus owner, which I don't know, if your dog is biting you, that's not a good thing, but that's up to them. There was a stray kitten and that was taken care of. So that was pretty short report. For June, it was an exciting month, lots of crazy wild animals. So there was a bat, there was a dead groundhog, was a baby bunny that was found. There was a dead raccoon, and there was a abandoned orphan little baby bird.
There's the bear in town.
That's not on my report, but you showed me the picture, so I was kind of expecting to see the bear, but
Please take care of the bear.
not on my report, so I don't know what to say. And then a few more dog bites, cat scratches.
It was a big bear.
It was a really big bear.
And the police chased it out.
I grew up on the border of New York State. There were more bears than people in my town, so bears were okay with me.
Anything else? Anything else, Councilwoman?
No, that's it.
Thank you. Also, before I move on, since neither of you reported on the Liberty Village redevelopment committee meeting, we did meet with the redeveloper, with our engineer, and he's moving pretty fast now. They closed and sold the property for the veterans homes. So those are gonna be, everything is being built by other companies once he does all of the interior work. So that closing happened last week, and he's anticipating that the first block of townhouse lots will be available to be closed, having all their infrastructure in, other than the final road course, so that D.R. Horton can start building not later than 2 months. He said a month, we figured 2. So, which is great because, just so the whole council remembers this from the redevelopment committee meetings, those of you who weren't here, is that when he goes for, when D.R. Horton goes for their building permit to start building that first group of townhomes, Liberty Village redeveloper has to pay to the borough $1.75 million for infrastructure improvements there, the well, and other places in town. And that's the trigger. It is the first request for a permit, construction permit for the first towns. So pretty sure. Councilwoman Parker. Councilwoman Herbert.
Thank you. I want to start by saying thank you, Councilman Levitt, for representing the needs of our North End pedestrian safety by bringing to the parking committee the issue of the illegal left turn from Park Avenue extension to North Main. I'm really excited that there's some action happening there. So thank you. Library board met June 26th. I shared with the board that the next step on the elevator project is to have the architect prepare a bid, and Director Jane DeHaven has started that process. FRSD board meeting in June was really uneventful. It was a bunch of approving summer staff and some minor updates to policies. They are meeting again 2 days from now. Again, expect a summertime one to be relatively quiet. You've heard about parking committee from the mayor and Councilman Levitt. I tried to turn you into a trivet. Sorry about that. I had recently learned about the New Jersey State Department of Community Affairs. They have a webinar series that they just started called the Mayors and Legislators Resource Series, where they teach you about services that the DCA offers to residents so that you can then take it to your community. And I'll share information with all of you about how to get invited to that. But the one big thing we learned about was this program that provides technical support, training, and funding to municipalities looking to build affordable housing, including supportive housing. So given that this was in alignment with my goals to introduce supporting housing to our environment, I had a last minute opportunity to apply to the program, wrote an application, and we were accepted. So it does not obligate the borough to anything. It's myself and Councilman Engelhardt will be getting training ongoing for the next 11 months. We'll have kind of homework to do in between a monthly meeting where we'll get to talk to experts and ask our questions and learn from other municipalities as well. So we'll be bringing all that we learned there back to this body and to my mission to introduce supportive housing in the borough. And the training will cover topics like life cycle housing, what that means, groundwork and planning, project development, community engagement, partners in development, production financing, and NJ agency partners. And that's my report.
That's really good news.
Yeah, if you don't mind, Beth, I'd like to add to that. Thank you for inviting me along for that ride. Beth emailed me and said, can you help me write this grant with me? And she did a great job writing it, and I put my 2 cents in. And the first lesson was last Wednesday. It was really informative. But what she didn't mention is there's $20,000 worth of money that can come out of this. It's to pay for professional services like planning services once we go through this training and then decide maybe we want to have a study for supportive housing, for example. But she should definitely pat on her back, and there is real money that's involved. So thank you, Beth, for that.
Congratulations. That's great. That's a great achievement. Really good. Thank you.
And homes.
Okay. Is that it, Councilwoman Herbert?
Yes.
Thank you very much. All right, we're up to public comment session number 1, 3 minutes per person. If you're online, please raise your hand. If you're here in public, please come up to the microphone, state your name and address for the wish, please.
Good evening, good evening, council members. My name is Rick Hammond.
Can you spell your last name?
RHAMMOND. Rick Hammond. And I'm sorry?
Address, please.
34 Spring Street.
Thank you.
I'm here to speak regarding the Spring Street resident parking pass permit. Currently, households are only permitted 2 guest parking passes. My girlfriend, lives on Spring Street and regularly hosts a small group of the close friends. 3 close friends, I'm sorry, because of the current 2 pass cap. One guest is always left without a legal place to park. This policy will impose a significant ongoing burden on us. Every single visit will require stressful logistics, constant worrying about ticketing. A home should be a place where you can welcome a small group of family or friends without administrative hurdles. 2 passes may work on average, but it completely disregards the reality of small households who regularly entertain just 1 more person. We are not asking for a party permit. We're just asking for the resident the ability to host 3 guests. Respectfully ask the council to review this ordinance and consider increasing the household guest pass to 3. Thank you for your time.
I'll speak to the chief about that.
Thank you.
Okay, if you could do me a favor, leave your phone number or just
Sure.
write it on that paper and give it to Carla for me.
Sure.
Okay.
Also, another quick thing, May
Jeff, you still have time.
the parking over there on Spring Street, at least on that street, I got 3 also at this time, has 24-hour permanent parking. My question is, the problem is if someone parks there that's not supposed to park there, it's gonna be a burden on us because they're now in our, we're already supposed to park basically on the street. So my question is, if you had like 24-hour permit with towing on top of it, I think it would discourage them more to park there. Otherwise, they will, receive a ticket and pay it. They say, heck, I don't care, I'll just pay the ticket. And, that's what I see with that. I mean, I could be wrong, I'm just addressing it, it's just, to me, it's something for the residents, like a burden on the residents, but that's what I would say, so,
I'll speak with the chief about how they're handling
okay.
through traffic. Anybody who isn't moving, I don't know if they're knocking on doors and looking for somebody or, but we'll get back to you for sure.
They did just about the parking sticker, how it rolled up, my girlfriend's sticker rolled up, and we we're trying to tape it on, so.
Yeah,
Gotta clear, clear up the cobwebs, I guess, right?
well, that's just a bad batch.
Yeah.
Really
Okay.
truly, so, yeah, but that's a good way to put it, the conflicts to be clear.
Okay.
But thank you, yeah, if you can give me that paper book in front of me.
Sure, okay.
Right on this paper, just write your name.
We could just clarify, it's not associated with the ordinance. The
No.
parking permitting isn't an ordinance.
I don't live there, so try my.
And the 2 cars per.
No,
It's not associated with an ordinance. We never passed an ordinance saying that we
No.
only have 2 cars, so I just wanted to correct that.
Rick is your friend.
Yeah. But I just think that, the police department is pretty
Fine.
flexible, there's so many calls, I think, and it says I'm having people over.
That's 7, right?
Says. I don't think.
Yes,
That was the chief's suggestion.
Yeah.
When I shared my-
Confirm that with the chief.
One in his car.
Then yes, people understand, you know who's going around,
Thank
you
you.
know. So, okay, thank you.
Another bit of communication.
Anybody else, from the public? 3 minutes. No, come on, leave your name and add to the record, please.
Yeah, I'm Tony Predwood, resident at 45 North Main Street here in Borough. I have one question in regards to what might have went on at the planning board meeting following the last council meeting. I wasn't able to attend that. Was there any decisions made in regards to the 2 vacant properties, with the owners?
Are you talking about the Agway properties?
Yeah, the Agway.
So those are redevelopment matters, and they're with the redevelopment committee, the redevelopment, designation, both sites were de-designated, so neither of them have the title of redeveloper anymore in town.
So what basically is the status of those properties?
So
Is the-
the Tarboy building status is that it doesn't, it's owned by the guy who owns Steve's.
No camp.
And Millcamps, and I have a call into him and I'm trying to reach him to find out what his intention is now, because that redeveloper is gone. And then the site across the street where the store was, is still privately owned. They are still interested in developing it. And they are still going through, the challenge of getting FEMA to consider remapping the floodplain in the area so that they can maximize the property if possible.
Yeah, because, in light of the
But
fact,
they've lost their status as well, which means
Well,
they've lost their approval because they've had them for too long under the.
or, you know, in perspective of a longtime resident, it just seems like we're in a bad period again, you know, it's gonna be.
Well, no, we were in a bad
Oh,
period,
yeah.
we stopped it, and now we're trying to get into a good period.
Well, unless the buildings are taken down, this depot building, I would consider a priority taking the ugly buildings down. Now, you eminent domain it, you charge the owners of the property, but I think you need a little bit of incentive for these.
Here's the thing about this, right? They are in a floodplain. If they are removed, right, if they're not removed, they can be adaptively reused as commercial properties and they don't need DEP permitting, okay? If they're removed, the sites become basically useless because they're in floodplains.
Well, again,
I
that's,
personally am not encouraging them to take it down, just keep them.
well, and that would encourage anybody to develop it, correct? I mean, being it's in floodplain, like.
Well, again,
who would want-
what property is privately owned and they are pursuing developing it
Mhm.
to a new site plan, if they can get the mapping lines changed. And the other site, I'm not sure what his intentions are at this time.
It's also private, you know, they're both.
And they are both,
private,
yes.
And
So if you think this is taking long, if you want eminent domain and demolition by the council, it could take years.
Mhm.
Years and years and years, and nothing will happen. So the redevelopment committee, you know, we've been getting some phone calls. The development committee is, you know, they're completely knowledgeable about who's been calling and what's been going on. But, you know, I mean, that's the status, they're privately owned in floodplains.
Well, I mean, I would suggest that at the least, a part of the Agway property that borders Ferran, that is decrepit, that little frontage building that's there. If we could have the owners take some responsibility, because between maybe, you know, animals and vagrants and just the look, just to be able to take care of that corner piece of property, which
Well,
hundreds of people stop at that light and look to their left and go, what is this? Now,
property, make sure it's maintained.
well, again,
And
I
they
can
are
say,
supposed to be maintaining it
Well,
inside the fence and out.
it's not being maintained properly.
Well,
Okay,
Dave's
the
listening
fence,
to you
the
right now.
fence, the fence itself looks terrible. Okay, that's another thing. And then if you go across the street to, you know, to the little Elvis building, okay, there's moss growing up all over that beautiful caricature. So we know there's an owner of that building, but you know, if that caricature is so great to the, you know, lifeblood of Flemington, well, I would guess maybe in a few short months, you're not gonna see Guitar Boy. It's gonna be all moss or poison ivy, everything.
We're out of time, is there anything else?
Well, yes,
Okay,
the Home Depot building, it's great that we've taken out, not the Railroad Depot building.
Oh.
It's great that we did a little bit of action on that because the way it looks now, if a storm happened tonight or the next day, those 2x timbers that are basically laying there loose are gonna fly. And maybe they'll fly in the direction of my neighborhood, my house, or Jack Kunz's house, and go right through a window or hit a car or whatever. So I would say that being that we let that building go for years and years and years, that we hasten the demolition of that building to the ground. And if you want to save any of the dead animal carcasses that are in it for historical purposes, you know, be my guest. It's ridiculous. This is ridiculous. Okay? I'm a North Ender. I'm proud of my neighborhood. Could I see something different in the area? Oh, you bet. I'd like to see a charging park. Charging for cars. That whole area has been used for parking over the last 20 years. You know, it's available. You can park there, see the fireworks. But I'm looking at down the road. I'm looking at a vision. Well, if you can't find anything or a developer, eminent domain it, get a grant, do what you gotta do, put a charging park there for electric cars, make it green, put a few trees, make it look good, and I'm happy. I don't need another, 100 townhomes in my neighborhood. I don't need it. I've got Foran Boulevard. We need a buffer zone there. My property values need a buffer zone there. I don't need a five and dime. With all due respect to the owners, a five and dime cigarette, okay, and lottery ticket store that's fronting our neighborhood. I don't need it. We can live without that store. Ask Jack Kuntz or anybody else on Little Park Ave about that store. Now, if that store is gone and something else replaces it, that's, let's say, more akin to being a buffer to our neighborhood, I'm happy. I'm very happy. My property values are happy. My ability to sell my house is a lot easier. But if things go the other way, like I say, and we got a flood situation and we can't do anything with these properties for another 15 years, well, there's got to be an alternative. And whether, like I say, this borough, eminent domains, those properties, gets on the stick with somebody down in Trenton, I'd be happy about it. But we cannot sit here for another 10 years and look at what I'm looking at. And there is no way around it. This borough has to take the initiative concerning the north end of Flemington.
We're working on it, that's why they
I
were
know.
designated.
I know. And I know the process is slow.
Well, the first step was designating their redevelopments.
Well, like I say, if I had the money, if I had the crypto cash, I'd pay them off right now and say, go your merry way. And believe me, they take it. That's all they're looking for.
Anything else?
Well, you tell me, is there anything else?
Well, you're 8 minutes in, so I would say no.
Well, I hung around.
For the second
I
public
hung
part
around.
portion of
And I
the-
thank everybody here for what they do. Everybody here for what they do. And Dave, I got a little groundhog problem in the neighborhood. So maybe I might take care
Animal
of it.
control.
Huh?
Yeah, that's not
That's the
Dave.
police, that's
Oh, sorry.
Detective Quick Air, where
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
he searches for them as a defendant.
Get a new job, Dave.
I'm sorry. I'm the wrong guy.
Good.
Hi, Alan Martin, 29 East Main Street. I'll keep this one very short. I just wanted to extend my gratitude for the community, in particular Sergeant McNally, for the incredible help that he, the police department, OEM, and everyone gave for the World Cup event. It was an incredible event here in Flemington on June 19th. We had over 2,400 people show up. And when I tell you that the businesses have let me know from an economic development standpoint that this was a boon for them that day, that's why I applied for the grant, that's why we did it, and it worked. Just shows that the work we're putting in for the FID is really paying off for us. So thank you very much. And actually the state was so impressed with the event that we had in Flemington that they have asked to feature us. And so we're pulling together some information so that they can share that out with the press.
No,
Because it was, I think our pictures and videos showed quite the party. So thanks to everybody. And then just to mention, obviously Corn Tomato Beer is up next. Safety is of utmost importance. So we're working along the same path again, getting input from the county as well, so that we can make sure that we have all of our stuff focused. So I just want to say thank you.
The government reported today, it was the government, the national federal government, that not counting the shotgun rounds, which our game was in the shotgun rounds, that all of the final rounds generated $2.1 billion to local communities. Insane. Yeah, and that's not counting like the little rounds that were all free.
Yeah.
The final 16, so
It's the only thing that has brought the entire world together.
it's amazing,
Global.
amazing. I
Only-
already missed it.
Only thing that's brought everybody, nobody thought about race or wherever they were or nationality or anything. It's so,
it was
this goes to show.
I'm glad we were
that it
able to get a
can
little
be
slice
done.
of it, so.
Yeah, no, and like I said, they're not even counting those shotgun round numbers in that over $2 billion, the small communities. So it's amazing. All right, anything else from the public?
Just real quick,
Yes.
just to comment on what Ally was saying, just so everyone's aware, that FIFA World Cup watch party event was the largest security planning thing that event we've had come through this borough. Strict guidance that we were given from Homeland Security, state police, and Ally just jumped into it feet first, and we just did it, and she was awesome to work with, and the easiest event we've had a plan
That's great.
in this town, in years, because we had great partnership. So, thank you.
Great.
I have a
Right
question.
person in the right position.
Yeah.
I have a question, Brian, to follow up with that. You said it was like the strictest with the security, but it was also the easiest, and that probably has a lot to do with people involved. However, is there, and this is, I'm not putting you on the spot, but perhaps maybe go back and ask the chief and your colleagues, what maybe you learned from that experience that we could implement for future
Well,
things
so
that
we're
we could.
already using
Postpartum.
Yeah, postpartum,
Yeah,
pitch
so-
that.
Yep, so we always have what we call an after action.
Yeah.
So working through that, and we've already rolled our after action right into corned beer tomato, because
Awesome.
obviously a new component that we've never had before was transportation. We had to start bringing in shuttle buses, and it was great. Our OEM CERT team took that component over, and it was, we worked through it flawlessly, and we're incorporating that right into corned beer tomato. So
With just a lot more parking.
yeah, a lot more
Sorry, a lot
parking.
more what?
A lot more parking spots for Portsmouth here.
Congratulations.
But no, it worked great, and really, it was a team effort, and it worked out great.
Great, thank you. Great, approval of minutes, number 9 on the agenda. Regular session, June 22nd, 2026. Can I have a motion, please?
Liberal move.
Is there a second?
Engelhardt will second.
Roll call, please. Roll call. All in favor? Sorry.
I'm on.
Aye.
Don't do that.
Executive session.
Aye.
2026. Sarah, what's the executive session, please?
Liberal move.
Is there a second?
Pardon.
All in favor?
Aye.
Consent agenda, resolution 2026-119. Chapter 159, State of New Jersey NP grant, resolution 2026-120, chapter 159, Comcast Shade Tree grant, resolution 2026-121, chapter 159, alcohol education rehabilitation and enforcement grant, resolution 2026-122, resolution approving a refund for the redemption of tax sales certificate on block 5, lot 1, resolution 2026-123, resolution authorizing a contract with Correga Landscaping LLC to abate public safety hazards at 309 Highway 202, block 44, lot 7, and authorizing the tax collector to the property. Resolution 2026-124, resolution approving a refund for the redemption of tax sales certificate on block 4, lot 1. Anybody want anything off the consent agenda for a separate vote? Seeing none, can I have a motion, please?
Engelhardt will move.
Is there a second?
Liberal second.
Roll call, please.
Council Vice President Engelhardt,
Yes.
Councilwoman Fasara,
Yes.
Councilwoman Herbert,
Yes.
Councilman Levitt,
Yes.
and Council President Parker.
Yes.
I think with this introduction of ordinances, ordinance 2026-14, and ordinance amending section 3-9, obstruction of street and sidewalk of chapter 3, police regulations of the borough's municipal code to clarify obstructions not permitted in the right of way, which is why Dave Giuliani is here tonight, and Sergeant McNally was actually assigned specifically for tonight, was to answer any questions of the council prior to introduction. There were a number of some tweaks, and Councilman Engelhardt, do you wanna, since you're liaison to public, do you wanna talk about this?
Yeah, I was actually called by Chris a couple days ago, and I had spoken
Chris
to
being our attorney, everybody was in.
Sorry. Mr. Corsini a couple of days ago, and now it's been almost a month, but after our last meeting, I chatted with Dave, as well as some of the other neighbors on Walters, and I think we kind of came to a compromise. Thank you. I don't know why I don't have my words today either, apparently. Where we all agreed, I think at the last meeting, that we wanted to get rid of the jail sentence, and we came up with a $500 maximum fine. I think in the end, like I said, the last meeting, I really would prefer neighbors to be neighborly. And, but this is something that, as Dave, explained to me, it affects all areas of the borough. My concern is that we don't, that we stick to, this particular issue and not necessarily, I guess my concerns were the kind of the vagueness of what goes out on the street. We have a lot of people that can put out free stuff and it gets taken. It's when it's, I think, and Dave uses his good judgment and common sense. When something's out on the street for a long period of time, that's when he would act, not necessarily like, the day you put something out on the street to be taken. And I think as long as common sense is used, I think that's great. So I think the $500 compromise and the no jail time was the big issue here. I think after I spoke to a couple of the neighbors as well, I think they would prefer some rules be in place. So that if neighbors can't get along, at least they all know what the rules are. And if nobody's violating the rules, no harm, no foul. So.
But the rule is, I just wanna make sure.
Oh,
So is it the whole structure cannot be in the right of way, it has to be in their driveway.
Yeah.
But if it's in their driveway and something happens, a ball goes into it, that has nothing to do with anything, right? I just wanna make sure that everybody hears that, okay.
Thank you. That's probably the better
Those who
summary.
can't see Sergeant McNally, you agree.
Yes.
Yes, he was nodding.
But Council President, okay.
Do you guys want to say
Anybody have
anything?
anybody have any questions directly for Dave or for Sergeant McNally regarding this ordinance, and why it's necessary, what it will do, or are you all satisfied?
Just to be clear, maybe, so we get a property maintenance officer with far less common sense, right? Could it be? Could it be construed or, that, I don't see it specifically excluded here. Things like, we have, a lot of people who do things like sidewalk sales. They place out little A-frame signs to promote their business. We have a lot of, on the sidewalk, in the right of way, dining options in areas like that. Provided they don't think they are detrimental to health, safety, and welfare of the public. But you shouldn't see it.
Those are all governed by ordinances already, those things that you just mentioned.
Be under sign and outdoor dining.
Yeah, they're all governed under, this is specifically for,
Yeah.
more geared towards people who put a permanent
Sure.
folding table out on the sidewalk and constantly have things on there that never goes away. Like that's.
But if you put something free to a good home, a lot of times it just gets picked up immediately.
Certainly just.
Right,
There all of a
Dave
sudden.
uses his judgment when it's been there too long.
But when there's a couch on the side of the road for a month over at like,
Freezer.
on Reasoner Road, we know where these things are dumped. That's the property owner's responsibility. So this will help that
But the
too.
other sections of the ordinances that are extensive, you said you're allowed to have these things here for things like some. That would be contrary to this. Oh. That was my only.
Where kids are selling lemonade or their 3D printer stuff.
Detrimental.
Oh, no, we took that out of the ordinance.
$500.
Right, but to be fair, folks, we do get at times a lot of, and even sports equipment. I'm gonna go with the basketball hoops and soccer nets and things like that are just left in the right of way because they are. And we have no pushback to say, well, you
Kids are
can't.
great putting out their toys, they're
Yeah,
terrible putting them away.
so my thing is, put it out, bring it back.
Well, maybe that was my only comment that I had to Chris last week was maybe we should actually use the word sports in here or.
But I think there's other items.
Yeah, I don't think.
There's other items that could be in an easement, and we've had.
Well, you list those, but you don't say sports equipment, is my point. So maybe add the word sports equipment.
I think it's pretty broad.
All right.
You can interpret it to any
Yeah.
item
Alright.
Which is.
I was like, that was the inspiration of this to begin with, and we don't actually use those words, so I
Right, but
just,
it
it's
gives him,
not see more.
it gives him some leeway.
Exactly, leeway, and that's what we have, where we can't get those clear, nothing to go back on, so. Obviously, you know, you're gonna use self-discretion, you're not gonna go after somebody that's been having something out there for 5 minutes, say, hey, it can't be, you know.
So that, therein lies the issue, because that basketball structure or soccer structure could come out and they could be playing. And then you're gonna get a phone call saying that's not supposed to be there because whatever. So that's a slippery slope. So how do you deal with that? Because the bottom line is that it can't stay there, but it doesn't say that it can't be there while I'm using
So
it.
it would, if it was there when we responded, it would be considered obstruction.
Even if they're actively using it.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah.
asking.
I mean, if there's a complaint generated for it, it would be an obstruction, correct?
Okay, so that means that it just can't be out there, period. Okay.
It can't be in the right of
It's on
way.
your neighborhood.
Or neighbors should get along with each other and.
Right, but if a neighbor-
Kind of work with that.
But my point of it is that. Yes, but my point is that technically,
Technically.
it shouldn't be out there because they can be fine. Now, if a neighbor doesn't care, that's on them, but technically, according to this, it should not have. That's what I'm asking.
That's correct.
And then that's right, and,
Correct.
you
It
know,
should not be there.
like same thing
Under
with.
this ordinance, it shouldn't even be there temporarily for kids to kick soccer balls in a structure on a public use.
And that goes the same with couches. If I get technically a complaint about a couch on a sidewalk. The couch isn't supposed to be there, so that has to be addressed at that.
Unless it's being picked up with a sticker.
Yeah, unless it's got a
Right.
sticker for
Right.
full pickup, but, you know.
Can I have a motion to introduce? Is there a second?
Engelhardt will second.
Any other discussion? Roll call?
Council Vice President Engelhardt,
Yes.
Councilwoman Fasar,
Yes.
Councilwoman Herbert,
No.
Councilman Levitt,
Yes.
and Council President Parker.
Yes.
Public hearing scheduled for August 10th. In this room. We have no public hearings tonight, regular agenda, resolution 2026-125. Resolution approving the purchase of a 2026 Ford Interceptor utility vehicle from Winter Ford from state contract number 20 fleet 01189 with a not to exceed amount of $41,611. Have a motion, please. Is there a second?
Sparkle second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Council Vice President Engelhardt,
Yes.
Councilwoman Fasar,
Yes.
Councilwoman Herbert,
Yes.
Councilman Levitt,
Yes.
and Council President Parker.
Yes.
Resolution 2026-126, resolution approving the purchase of a 2026 Ford Interceptor utility vehicle from Elite Vehicle Solutions from state contract number 17 fleet 00749 with a not to exceed amount of $32,059.20. For a motion, please. Is there a second?
Sparkle second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Council Vice President Engelhardt,
Yes.
Councilwoman Fasar,
Yes.
Councilwoman Herbert,
Beth, you got yourself muted.
Councilman Levitt,
Yes.
and Council President Parker.
Yes.
Resolution 2026-127, resolution authorizing the 2026-2027 school tax payments to Hunter Central Regional High School. Can I have a motion, please? Is there a second?
Herbert will second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Council Vice President Engelhardt,
Yes.
Councilwoman Fasar,
Yes.
Councilwoman Herbert,
Yes.
Councilman Levitt,
Yes.
and Council President Parker.
Yes.
Resolution 2026-128, resolution authorizing the 2026-2027 school tax payments to the Flemington American Regional School Board. Can I have a motion, please? Is there a second?
Engelhardt will second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Council Vice President Engelhardt,
Yes.
Councilwoman Fasar,
Yes.
Councilwoman Herbert,
Yes.
Councilman Levitt,
Yes.
and Council President.
Yes.
Resolution 2026-129, resolution authorizing to extend the grace period for the third quarter tax payment to September 11th, 2026. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Engelhardt will second.
Any discussion?
Why are we
Question,
doing this?
why? Oh,
Okay,
great minds.
we're doing this because the county hasn't been certified yet by the state of New Jersey. And so therefore the county has not sent us our numbers
Okay, thank you.
across the entire county.
No, that's not.
That's what I was told yesterday.
I got my tax bill 3 days ago and almost had a heart attack.
No,
Well,
Yes.
that's what I was told yesterday.
No, no. So we're
Literally on a Sunday, cause I've been
Township.
following up on this every
So
single.
it's just that we haven't gotten it.
You
It's not-
haven't
it-
gotten
It
your
doesn't mean the
tax
state
rate.
hasn't gotten it, it's that we
Yeah.
haven't done it.
Yeah. Okay.
So my understanding is that the state has not certified budget numbers, perhaps it's us and a few other municipalities, to Hunterdon County. So therefore, Hunterdon County hasn't been able to do our numbers.
Yeah,
To
do
us,
it.
email us,
Yeah.
tax.
Thank you.
Council Vice President Engelhardt,
yes.
Councilwoman Fasaro,
Yes.
Councilwoman Herbert,
Yes.
Councilman Levitt,
Yes.
Council President Parker.
Yes.
Resolution 2026-130, resolution authorizing the Borough of Flemington to enter into the New Jersey Cooperative Purchasing Alliance Cooperative Pricing Agreement. A motion, please.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Engelhardt will second.
Any discussion?
I would like to just ask a question about this. It's from what I could understand of reading the agreement, seems like there's a lot of red tape. And I'm just wondering, did we do an analysis to validate that the savings that it could offer the borough is going to be a fair trade-off for the amount of additional effort to go through that purchasing system?
This is just one of many purchasing systems that the state offers, so we do this every year. So that we have options to use them because they're all certified, and we don't have to go out on bid. Which also costs money.
Can I ask, this is the one that Ken McCormick requested?
I don't know who requested it, I haven't seen that email.
I think so.
There's so many here,
Right.
we should be members of all of them.
We
right?
should be, right,
Absolutely.
I think,
Absolutely,
Let-
there's always a cost saving.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
well, I
It
guess,
doesn't require us to purchase from them. So
Right.
I'll
It
take
costs us
some
nothing to sign up.
No,
And
no.
usually you look, like if you want a car, you look at 3 of them, to see
Yeah.
who's the lowest.
Yeah, but you definitely want to be involved. in
Right.
this.
so yeah, I just wanted to answer your question, Beth, so I got an email from Ken McCormick as part of the, the construction department, and he CC'd Bill Hance on it. In asking to be specifically part of the Bergen Co-op, I believe.
That's it.
Mhm.
That's it.
Yeah, that's this one, and yes, Marcia, I think you were copied on this too. I believe I think the police department, it kind of reminded me, asked to be a part of a co-op last year, and it doesn't cost us anything, and it's basically allows them to kind of search around for the best price,
And
so
honestly, Bergen County is one of the best.
good, and that's probably why Ken requested it, probably, talked to a friend and said, hey, I'm getting great deals from this co-op, and he was the one who requested it, so I want to make sure we support him.
All right.
Roll call. Councilwoman Engelhardt.
Yes.
Sorry, Vice President, Councilwoman Fasaro,
Yes.
Councilwoman Herbert,
Yes.
Councilman Levitt,
Yes.
and Council President Parker.
Yeah,
Resolution 2026-131, resolution amending the 2026 salary resolution. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Under a second,
purpose.
any discussion? Roll call, please.
Council Vice President Engelhardt.
Yes.
Councilwoman Fasaro,
Yes.
Councilwoman Herbert,
Yes.
Councilman Levitt.
Yeah.
And Council President Parker.
Yes.
Resolution 2026-132, approval to submit a grant application and execute a grant agreement with the New Jersey Department of Transportation for the NJDOT FY 27 road improvement project, specifically from North Main Street. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Sorrow, second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Council Vice President Engelhardt,
Yes.
Councilwoman Fasaro,
Yes.
Councilwoman Herbert,
Yes.
Councilman Levitt,
Yes.
and Council President Parker.
Yes.
Public comment session number 2. Anybody from the public having any questions? If online, please raise your hand.
No, we got one.
And anybody?
We got a live one.
Okay, I can't see who it is.
It's the guy from. Go ahead.
Okay,
Alright.
I need your name and address for the record, please.
Tim Herlihy, 5 Walters Lane.
Okay, well, yours, 3 minutes.
All right, so based on this, the ordinance 2026-14 is now approved.
No.
No, it's been introduced, there'll be a public hearing on August 10th,
Okay, so public hearing on August 10th.
public hearing, so if you want to comment on the record, that's when you would do it,
Okay.
okay?
Just on the other thing, just to make the point, there's one thing about objects, but the other point was to make sure that it means the borough right-of-way is used for the intended purpose of a street right-of-way and not for any other actions that are not covered in the purpose for a street and right-of-way. So unless you get a permit, like you get a permit for parade, whatever, there shouldn't be access. The public borough right-of-way should not be using for other actions.
Thank you for your comments, but again, they really belong on August 10th.
Right.
Okay, anybody else from the public?
No, he still has his hand up, but I don't.
Another round, Mr. Credit?
Yeah,
just a
short one, yeah.
Okay, come on up. Promise it's short.
I promise.
Okay, promise the thing.
Tommy Previtt, 45 North Main Street. You know, overall, the picture of the north end is somewhat disappointing in terms of the length of time that things are going to start happening. And I'm gonna go back to a few years back when I sat here and there was a meeting concerning making these properties areas of redevelopment, you know? And to make a point, Steve Store was not included in that. And it was originally, and then, you know, 1 or 2 people basically said, you know, it's an existing business and all. Well, I think this body and Flemington Borough government in general should really consider taking Steve's Store out of the picture. Because it is basically not doing what it used to do for the neighborhood, based upon everything else going on in the greater area. It's an eyesore. As some people have commented, the store is facing the wrong way. And it is, let's say, the easiest thing to change that would be, let's say, very effective to the area residents. Okay, I think we should remove that store. I think it should be an area of redevelopment. And we could get something going in terms of the proximity. The other 2 properties, sounds like it's gonna be a bureaucratic nightmare for another 10 years. But Steve's Store, no. And Steve's Store directly affects our homes, our neighborhoods, our environment there. And like I said, I think we can come up with something that might be better off there. In fact, if the property was just bought, you could redesign that whole corner, that whole triangle. Maybe Little Park Ave could be 2 ways. Jack Kuntz and company there could find ways, you know, to be able to angle park rather than trying to do what they do every day there, you know, and squeeze in, you know, your normal parking rhythm. It really should have been done years ago. And I'm just reiterating the fact that I think that parcel of land, okay, should be gone. I really do. Whether the county gets involved, make it open space, give them their money, let them go, and let the Millcamp decide what they want to do with the other, you know, properties there. But again, I think the store has seen its days. I don't think people are getting the value. I don't see people going in there. I don't see the crowds in the morning. Alls I get is the dumpsters. You know, and the people coming down trying to navigate the driveway. You name it. It's pretty dysfunctional there. But yes, I think that is the first step. Okay. And then, like I said, on the other side of Park Ave, you know, that's another deal. But that area right there that fronts Little Park Ave, North Main, the corner there, I think there could be something better there in terms of, you know, our property values, the neighborhood in general, and like I say, as a buffer to whatever's going to be on the other side of the street. But again, it's a missing link. But I think really the days of that store are over, and it can only improve the general neighborhood there.
Thank you for your opinions. Anybody else from the public? 3 minutes. Yes, Mr. Director, your name and as director.
Joseph W. 11 East Main Street. I just want to, I don't think anybody here except Marshall Carmen Wines is.
Yes.
He passed
We
away.
should have asked. We should have-
Oh, I've read.
Yeah, she could have made.
I just give a moment of silence for.
And I was just looking at the council. So Carmen Rhines was the person who started the Flemington Business Association. And when I was on council, the mayor appointed me the business liaison, so I got to know her. Very kind woman, owned a number of businesses in town. And really, the word volunteer, her picture should be in the dictionary next to that word.
She also was principal in saving money and creating
Yes.
Yes.
not-for-profit that
Yeah.
is.
And all of the organizations that followed in town from any economic development group really had its formation in the idea of the FBA, the Flemington Business Association. So I was hoping in some way the council would recognize her resolution or just, reaching out to her family with a card or something. So
Joey, thank you for I am so remiss, I should have brought this up today and asked for a moment of silence. We definitely should do a resolution for her for our next meeting.
yeah, I think it's very appropriate. I mean, we
We
used
did
to.
do one for Chris Engelhardt. She was another one who,
Yeah, I
she did
saw she.
so much for the community as well.
And so much for the arts.
She started the whole plein air program in this county.
Just,
Um,
I mean, very brief, when, I was saying, when I was liaison to the business association, she called me up, introduced herself, invited me to the first FBA meetings that we had. She took me around the room, introducing me to all the officers and the business owners, just to make sure that we had an ongoing relationship between the council and the FBA. And I always felt that she was just such a unapologetic, pure volunteer. I mean, she didn't have a bone in her body that was, in towns that have embattlements all the time, as we've experienced. She's someone that I think no one on any side of the aisle had anything bad ever to say. So.
Joey,
Thank you.
yeah, thank you so much. I wanna mention that, I actually reached out to Jim Hill.
Oh, you did?
Her son-in-law, and our sympathies all go out to the family. Jim's a longtime planning board, member. But more importantly, and you had mentioned the Sam Fleming connection as well. For those of you that don't know, I think one of the two places that the family is asking people to direct donations is to the Sam Fleming.
Yes, okay.
So, maybe we
Very good
could
to know.
put that up on.
Joe, how do you spell it?
Facebook page.
Grimes.
See, like grime with an S.
Yeah,
Yeah,
But
it's
you're right.
Grimes.
Yes.
and
It's
the
Carmen's-
service
Wednesday.
is, this week.
It's Wednesday, and I'm out of town, I'll be for meetings.
But yeah, if you are so inclined and you've enjoyed the Sam Fleming House or any of their events,
Yeah.
I think that the family would really appreciate a donation.
And Carmen's pictures and like all their floats dressed up in colonial costume and,
Right.
yeah, I spent all of them with Edna Patrick and.
Yeah, she, I don't know how old she was, I think she lived to her 90s.
Carmen, she was just
98.
short of her
Yeah.
100th birthday.
Yeah, I think she did.
I believe she's with like a day short of 99 or a day short of 100.
And
Lovely day.
one of the few people in town who's older than me, so.
It was a.
Anyway, thank you so much. for that.
Thank you for
Thank you.
coming and reminding us. Okay, anything else from the public?
Nope.
Seeing none, payment of bills, please authorize the payment of bills. The amount of $2,798,367.73. Have a motion, please. Is there a second? Sarah, second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Council Vice President Engelhardt,
Yes,
Councilwoman Fasar,
Yes.
Councilwoman Herbert,
Yes.
Councilman Levitt,
Yes.
and Council President Parker.
Yes.
We have an executive session to talk about potential litigation and water easement. It's okay with everybody, I'd like to not have a break, you just get right into the closed session. Good break. We have a 2-minute break. Can I have a motion, please, to move into executive session?
Liberal move.
Is there a second? Sarah, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Press Scott to don't clear the room, so please, clear the room.
Here we go. Yeah,
All
adjourn.
right, can I have a motion to adjourn?
I will move.
Is there a second?
A second.
Next meeting is August 10th. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Bye.
Aye.
Woohoo.
Bye.
Aye.
Bye.